evening. Deciding to do, we're gonna be playing the FOX5 News at 5, at 9, FOX5 News at 9, wait, the FOX5 News at 10, at 8-ish. Mainly because I found a voice that's very anchory. It's very news anchory. So I wanted to test it out. Let's check it out. Blue lighter, let's do this, do that, and that. Yeah.
Good evening, I'm Zach Brownie Pont, and this is the FOX5 News at 10. Do you know where your children are? No? Good. Lock the doors. We're gonna dive into some sex ape for work shit. The Cleveland School District has been installing hidden cameras in their schools after a number of rapes were reported by parents over the years. The cameras are now installed in every school district building for the first time since the 1990s, according to officials. The Ohio Department of Education paid for $40 million worth of security equipment as part of a federal grant that would cover up to 90% of costs. There have not been any incidents involving students being recorded so far, but officials say they'll continue to monitor all footage until further notice. This is great news, a little scary too, but it will be nice when I can drop my kids off and get on with my day without wondering if someone's secretly recording me while I work out in the locker.
I want... Let's see. TV announcer... Oh. Okay. Maybe that's...
This is a test for text-to-speech. A little harsh, a little slow, but always on point.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see if that works. That might be a little slow. We'll see.
Hullabaloo's in New York City. Why am I covering something in Ohio? This is the local news for Quizix. Come on, yo! A former NYPD officer named Pedro Espada Jr. was found dead today inside his car near an intersection on the Lower East Side, according to sources within law enforcement who wish to remain anonymous. He died from a gunshot wound to the head, and investigators are looking at this death as a suicide. He had just turned 60 last month. In other news, more details are emerging about the alleged terror attack planned for Times Square 2 weeks ago. Law enforcement officials confirmed earlier today that 20 pounds of homemade explosives were recovered after a tip led them to an apartment in Brooklyn. Police have also arrested 3 men who were allegedly involved in the plan, which included attacking police officers stationed along 42nd Street. And in Brownsville, the bishop over there, one Lawrence Cometto, worshipped the wrong god in his church. I mean, come on. How could anyone think of using money donated by parishioners to buy jewelry for their wife instead of food and clothing for people living in poverty? That guy's got some explaining to do. And you thought your preacher looked stupid dancing around like that before the game during halftime at Ravens games. Just because you've got enough dough to go buy those big gold chains doesn't mean you need bishop, man. It just makes it seem like you're trying to put down the congregation even though you're just acting like a spoiled kid who wants attention. Oh well, let's see if we can find out how long Mr. Cometone has been giving away his own hard-earned money. And don't get me started on his identity theft schemes. Hey, remember back in March when I was telling you about that whole thing with all the New York State senators who went missing? Well, turns out the cops have found their bodies and they all died of gunshot wounds too. According to sources inside law enforcement, all 8 of them were found dead at the bottom of a small pond in a wooded area just outside the city limits. Officials aren't saying much at this point, but what is clear is that whoever killed these guys is really good at shooting from the hip. Okay, that should be it for tonight. Keep checking back in for more local news here in Cleveland. And now for the latest local news from FOX5 News. And that day when the bishop a few weeks ago kept calling us faggot, I mean, lady doth protest too much. The first time I met him, I was waiting to talk to my rabbi, and he's like, hi. And I'm like, hey. Then he calls me faggot again and starts yelling at me, and suddenly there's a cop standing next to me, and the bishop's all apologetic and shit like it wasn't his fault, and then some people came running out of the temple shouting and crying, and some guy tried to pull his gun on the cops, but it turned out to be one of the cops' guns, so... you do what you gotta do. Anyway, that night after everyone cleared out, I saw the rabbi in the hallway getting ready to go home. Something tells me it was all staged. Hi, said Zach as I stepped into the door frame of his office, blocking any potential view from his boss's desk chair. He was dressed casually. Jeans, a white collared shirt, black boots, and leather gloves. His longish brown hair and mustache were immaculate and perfectly styled. No stray hairs or eyelashes that weren't supposed to be there. Not a speck of dust, a complete lack of pores, an unbroken skin tone that didn't show even the slightest trace of sweat. I looked down at my hands and clothes. Are you going somewhere? I shook my head no. I just need a favor from you. He gave me a half smile which somehow made him look less creepy than usual. What can I do for you, pal? What could an old dog like me possibly do for a young pup? I smiled back, but internally thought about what to say. After all, I'd never actually met this man before, but he seemed to know all sorts of personal things about me. And by me, I mean myself, and not some imaginary version of me who is far more interesting and complex in all ways. But the way he was speaking reminded me of someone I used to know so well when we lived together in Baltimore many years ago. A guy named Kurt, my brother. I'll explain more later. My friend got arrested tonight. I started. You've come to me for help because you're afraid your friends might be taken away in cops. He said matter-of-factly as if it should be obvious. Yeah, something like that, yeah. I scratched at my beard stubble, embarrassed by how obviously flustered and nervous I was acting right now. He gestured toward his chair. Have a seat, Mr. Brownie Pond. He paused. Actually, you probably want to sit on the couch there. I followed his advice. This is some nice furniture. I take it that's yours? Well, yes, that's mine. And those are also mine. And the wallpaper and carpeting in here and all of that over there too. That's all me. Or rather, the bank owns all of that stuff. But I own all of them. I nodded and took another look around. Wow, all you, huh? He shrugged. The universe belongs to me. Everything. The trees, the birds, the clouds, the sun, the moon, the stars, everything. Even you. I made you, you know. What? You made people? I asked skeptically. It sounded like he'd read a bit too much science fiction. Yes, indeedy. As soon as the universe came into existence. Well, after a few trillion years of evolution, but let's not go there for now. He added with a chuckle. Okay, I replied. So where were we? He sat down behind his desk and motioned for me to do the same. Then he leaned forward onto his elbows and fixed me in a stern glare. I'd never met anyone so dumb in my life, he said bluntly before continuing in a softer tone. Let's get one thing clear. No one likes an asshole, but especially when they're sitting across from him trying to make their case. He paused. Now that I have your attention, and it appears you need it desperately, let me tell you how you're going to proceed. He then proceeded to outline what I should say or do to convince the judge that he was worth keeping alive. problem was that even though it seemed plausible and sensible on its surface, every word was dripping with arrogance and contempt toward the very notion of having rules or boundaries imposed upon oneself and slash for others. And although he might sound reasonable, it would be extremely difficult to believe anything this guy ever told me, since it had already been established by experience that all his previous words and actions contradicted themselves whenever possible. But isn't all this sort of beneath you? I finally asked after several minutes of silence following his brief explanation. You're a big deal in the universe, right? Yes, I am. In fact, I'm the biggest deal there is. He pointed at me as if he was trying to give a little demonstration. And here I am, not just here in the universe, but also here within your brain, within your mind. That's right, I'm in your head right now, not to mention my spirit. He leaned back again and shook his head incredulously. Okay, prove it, I said. What am I thinking in my head? What am I thinking in my gut? And which is which? He sighed. Do you know how many people are standing behind me right now? What do they think about? How do they feel? Do they love each other? Why do they hate one another? Are they afraid? Is anyone jealous? Or do they wish they could kill everyone around them because they can't get their way, or they don't like who they have to share their lives with? I rolled my eyes and then noticed a pair of brown leather gloves sitting on his desk next to a framed picture of him shaking hands with a well-dressed older man whose face was covered with a beard. The photograph appeared to be taken on the set of some movie. That's not answering the question. Okay, sorry for wasting your time. See ya. I make to leave. You'll need this too, he said, tossing me a small white card from the table next to the photo. A compassionate card written across it in large black letters along with his cell phone number. Then he called after me. Come back when you've decided whether you want to help or not. He chuckled to himself as I walked away down the hall. There must be something seriously wrong with that boy if he has no interest whatsoever in being an asshole. I heard laughter and loud conversation as I passed through several more offices before reaching the elevator at last. A woman carrying a box of documents got off and stared at me suspiciously while holding her clipboard and pen. She gave me a quizzical look but didn't say anything as she headed up to the third floor. I smiled nervously but said nothing myself. As usual, my mouth felt paralyzed, like my brain couldn't quite figure out what words should come out of it. Maybe someday soon it would become my best feature, I thought sarcastically, making sure nobody saw my lips moving. After all, why speak aloud what we already know? That might make us seem dumb, but who really cares about that? Not me. It was just past 7 a.m. when Zach finally found his way home from work and showed up uninvited inside my room about 10 minutes later without knocking. It had been raining pretty hard for a couple hours and he looked very wet, but there was something different this time. I noticed right away. His skin color, especially around his neck, appeared to be paler than usual. He glanced around the room with a perplexed expression before noticing me staring back at him with the same sort of expression on my face. You okay? He asked me, concerned. I shrugged. Yeah. Then I said with emphasis. Yeah. Yeah, okay then. Hey, can you give me a hand with something real quick, just until I get dry again? Then he picked up one of the pillows lying against the wall and put it under his shirt so that it covered his lower torso. That'll have to do till tomorrow night, though, when I can shower at home. I replied flatly and nodded slowly as if understanding everything but not saying anything. And although my friend seemed to sense my confusion, he'd probably known about it ever since we first met. He still decided not to ask me what was wrong or why my eyes kept darting in every direction like they were desperately searching for something to hold on to while also trying to escape in every other direction simultaneously. We made love, I think, or like, or dignity. Good evening, I'm Zach Brownie Pond, and this is the FOX5 News at 10. Do you know where your children are? No? Good. Lock the doors. We're gonna dive into some 6-8 for work shit. Now let's see how our lead story is shaping up. In a remote part of western Maryland late last month, a group of 4 teenage boys kidnapped an innocent man from his home and forced him to commit sexual acts on each of them over several days during a period of roughly a week, according to police sources close to the investigation. The men were eventually discovered by authorities hiding out near the outskirts of Fredericktown in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. In response, the teens, 3 16-year-olds and 1 18-year-old who goes by the Chubster, were all arrested and charged with first-degree rape and attempted murder. They've been denied bail but will be held without bond pending trial. All of this came about because the aforementioned innocent victim managed to secretly record much of the ordeal using his cell phone camera before attempting to flee the house after discovering the entire situation was happening right under his own nose without his knowledge. Unfortunately, however, he had forgotten to turn off his device before going downstairs to his basement workshop, so he left behind enough clues for police to trace and identify the location where the young men were holding their prisoner captive. The discovery led to a swift search and rescue mission, which ended up being far more gruesome than anyone expected, as the men, and only the men, found inside were already dead from what appeared to have been a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Police are now looking into whether or not there is any connection between this event and what happened at that same home back in November when 3 other teenagers, including the Chubster, were found brutally murdered in a bloody mess that covered almost every inch of floor space in the areas of the residence. But I'm sure we'll hear more on that subject later tonight once I get an interview with a local psychologist. Stay tuned. I can't remember falling asleep, but suddenly I woke up. There was someone else sitting in the chair next to my bed wearing jeans, boots, and a sweatshirt, and judging by her red hair, it must be my wife, Amanda. Well, how was the Chubster murdered, then murdering? What the hell is going on? Where am I? Who are you? How did you get here? Are you real? Am I dreaming? I reached out and touched her head. It felt cold. I squeezed it gently while rubbing my eyes with the other. Amanda, I whispered, wake up. She didn't move or speak. The room was dimly lit from the light filtering through the closed curtains over the windows along the wall. A few minutes passed until I heard some rustling from outside, probably Zach trying to find his keys and come in, but no one entered the room. She still didn't stir, so I nudged her shoulder gently as I'd seen him do so many times before when he first wakes me up each morning, like he's worried about breaking something if he shakes me too hard. Wake up, I repeated more loudly this time. She finally asked sleepily without moving or even opening her eyes. What's wrong? Are you okay? Why are you yelling at me? I sighed deeply as I sat up on the edge of my bed and rubbed my face vigorously with both hands for a moment or two before continuing. You've got to stop sleeping naked. People can see everything, even your dick, if they just peek their heads in the door. Her eyes widened in surprise and opened wide as she turned to look around herself, almost making me fall backward off the mattress onto the floor in shock. But
I don't know. That's not the best.
couldn't care less, she said. Let me be a sway in the window. They're not coming to pay us to take a piss, and we are not selling Lookaloo time, all right? You worry about only what comes through that door and fuck everything else. She smiled. Besides, what's so bad about showing a little bit of skin every once in a while? Do you want me to wear those big ugly sweatpants all day long while you're gone every night or whatever it is you have planned? Cause trust me, I'll be more than happy to let you put my clothes on for me if it'll make it easier on my self-esteem. So there, I guess it's your lucky day because I'm taking the bait and going for the gold. Then she leaned forward in the chair and folded her arms over her chest in defiance as the blanket slipped down her shoulders, exposing her upper torso. Yeah, well, I mumbled, still rubbing my face in disbelief as I watched her turn sideways in order to stare at me from under her left elbow with an exaggerated glare. And I don't mind that you either, since I like you too much to waste my time getting upset about it or feeling jealous of anyone else you might like better. I just know you'd never do anything to hurt me or try to replace me with someone else, even though you've always got that dumbass expression on your face when some other woman makes eye contact with you, so watch out for yourself, okay? She shook her head and then began tapping her foot against the floor impatiently as if she were waiting for something to happen. She winked at me through her ribcage. Good evening, I'm Zach Brownie Pot, and this is the FOX5 News at 10. Do you know where your children are? No. Good. Lock the doors, cause Jesus Christ, get a load of this. We're gonna dive into some 6-8 for work shit. Now let's see how our lead story is shaping up. Amanda, I asked, what day of the week is it? It was after 11 a.m. on Saturday morning, the following Friday, but I wasn't sure if today or yesterday, or maybe tomorrow or next month. My brain felt slow, thick, and useless, but I did my best to pretend everything was normal while watching my wife pull her hair back behind her head with her free hand while sitting cross-legged atop my bed in nothing but an old t-shirt and panties while she strummed her fingers along a ukulele. The room had been cleaned from the previous night, so the scent of fresh air mixed together with the odor of soap filled the air as well. Huh, she replied as she played the tune I'd written for her several years earlier. Her long red hair hung loose down over her bare shoulders as she continued to stare straight ahead at me without blinking. I knew it must have taken some effort to climb onto the wall to reach the guitar case on the far end by the door, but she still managed it all alone and completely unaided despite being extremely drunk last night, which surprised me considering how much we both drank. Then again, she usually didn't drink very much. She began to play The Loneliest Guy in the Lower East Side, Magnetic Fields. I relaxed, but then a part of the tune shot me up the bed. That's it, that seems to be a clue. Oh man, I gotta get to the studio or the precinct, somewhere. I got up off the mattress as quickly as I could and took my clothes out of my dresser. Where's the door now? What day is it? My wife said, not looking up from her playing as I frantically searched around for the thing I needed to open the door. What day is it? Why, today is... I grabbed the knob and threw my arm forward to grab hold, but before I could even turn it, I heard a loud bang against the window on my left side, and a second later a huge chunk of the glass broke away from the frame and shattered loudly against the floor like someone had dropped a boulder on the other side of the pane. Mumbers, fetch me my shotgun. The wifey threw over laughing to me. Loaded, stopped, goaded, and unlicensed. And that's exactly when I became afraid to turn around and face her in case she really wanted to pull the trigger, which I couldn't allow because this might not have even been real. It just felt too familiar to me. Waking up with my wife dead on the floor because she somehow couldn't find any better way to deal with a bout of morning after angst than taking my life. And the image flashed before me of her tearing the drawers off the dresser, laying out my shirts, pants, underpants, and shoes onto the bed in careful order like someone arranging a dinner party, just like she once did, while shaking me violently. That would have definitely gotten her expelled. Not that anything like that really had ever happened or ever would happen now that she knew me and was inside of me in a way she would never try again once that had been shown to her. It could have just been a side effect of sleeping a full day, and I seriously doubt alcohol contributed in any way since she never touches it very much. Although what did I expect with a name like Amanda for someone who's constantly forgetting to get dressed when she should? The water must have just boiled over in the kettle. Just add some pepper and onions and voila, spiced chili water for Amanda. I don't know what it was exactly that affected her, and in truth, I guess I could be right about the chili thing, even though that's definitely not her thing. She loves me, and we're gonna like to be 170, so we're allowed some adult relaxation from time to time, right? Not that any of what was really happening to me right at the moment was terribly interesting, but it really creeped me out while it was going on, even if that meant I still had a lot more time than I anticipated. Well, and she's freaking beautiful and a talented singer, and no, not the little girl with the red boots that I later knew who got captured and was found dead, okay? Not now or ever, but yes, the Amanda who looks so much like you right now, or in any memory you can remember as she gazes at me right now and refuses to do anything in particular, but has always done exactly the exact right thing. So even though all the memories are just blurred memories of her all looking different, they don't get you as much, because in real life you wouldn't confuse the two, obviously. Ha, that makes so much more sense, doesn't it? Of course you do. Who the fuck knows if I ever explain that at least? The first rule to falling in love with someone else isn't that it just doesn't really matter. We're not thinking anything wrong of another human being. Oh shit, that was a speech bubble. That was meant to be a pop bubble. Sorry, I'm taking a breather between pages, you idiot, but for once, for real. Please, God, I promise. Please, for the last time. Fuck my past life, I was stupid then. I have to do this to redeem myself. Right now, I gotta figure this shit out right this fucking second while it's fresh. And even if the text on my page looks stupid and sloppy with just a ton of self-interviewing shit as my brain gets to working as soon as I'm tired. So tired. No need to look so frustrated. Bella. Anyway, keep it all locked in with you until you hear more. But what you don't know, you really ought to consider doing so. I mean, here we are at a restaurant with free internet with half a day to waste until we head to the studio. So who knows, maybe that'll actually be of more benefit because now, yeah, okay, we'll get some sleep further and come back to these other parts and how this has already all changed. So maybe even we can go see what they might end up meaning once I've written everything and clarified myself to my best ability. For I honestly wouldn't be at all surprised if I ended up simply strolling around the park or drinking myself silly like what I thought you might have said when you made this reservation days ago. God, how fucked am I? I can't keep track. Shopping spree at the sharper image. What I should have had. God, it could have been fun if it were something really dangerous to look at or play with, but to tell you the truth, if she'd gotten in on it too, I never would have had her drunk, so that makes up for one less day wasted later that evening or on this holiday. Fuck, I don't even know why she doesn't get better, and don't call me that, haha. Anyway, okay, yes, my mother hated everything having to do with electricity or technology. I got sick of spending time with the rest of her stupid family. Sometimes I wonder why the two of them married when one would obviously kill the other to achieve maximum spite. But no, she loved them each in very, very different ways from a position of deep despair. Hey, God, fuck, yes, there it is. So thankfully, yes, we know. Yeah, sure we do. Like there wasn't an incredible possibility that everything had been a bad dream or a false memory even then, and that I really had forgotten all this. Anyway, the top sheet of notebook paper flips to the inside where it stops when I'm leaning way too far in to take the call of a beautiful older woman named Evie, when all at once the vision of that waitress vanishes just before me, and I'm staring into the familiar eyes and blue-green depths of someone's beautiful girlfriend on this quiet Wednesday night somewhere along my otherwise desolate river. We look down as the back door of an old sedan on the floor of someone's backroom auto shop opens from the outside, where a huge monster slinks into sight through the side glass of the building at an incredible velocity, like she just blasted into this exact room with a burst of cold air before stopping for just an instant while crouching low against the rafters to look down with an angry expression before at long last standing back up to try on yet another new and wonderfully formless black garment made of whatever synthetic this monster can grab the cheapest. The dark breathes around it. The dark is everything there is. The dark has stolen everything. The dark spirits abound. Everything dies only to return an instant later, covered in the sallow and shadowy hue of its essence as a figure emerges, trailing after it in all its nihilistic magnificence, while this dark thing in her soft spot before once again slumping, tired or only amused after too many false starts, as that happens very occasionally with only one person who really does most certainly exist on another level of perception, despite the fact that not enough can actually be said or remembered for more than an instant after that occurrence in regards to exactly how her feelings develop even within one moment after that ever ends, and one needs to say much more when actually witnessing her be seen this way, or even suspect that this could be happening to me with, as I suspect, a perfect balance to myself, just a little left or not, just enough to keep my heartbeat fast and my head cold until, like when I remember some ancient place from my dreams I have seen within the ancient ruins and caves of an island, I find myself once again on the brink and face the decision as usual to make myself experience it, to not save this version of me because he would fail, or worse if that wasn't his immediate goal before leaving, while this person and those few others along the way merely stayed still and kept watching me walk back into this hell while holding one arm bent under my body. It really is over and only a matter, while everyone I know around here only wants more of this judgment, so they keep forcing things into an instant without comparison. Even with one eye in this dark thing, you had helped me in head, and I wish that we had made love just a little while earlier, just a little longer before parting. Like something told me that just would have worked with everything on the floor in the hallway the next morning before you drove me back home. Because I heard and saw some of that. Nothing can't explain this any better except through how it goes. Maybe after we move to be somewhat better. I just want some fresh air, but everything gets it looking untrusting here while we stayed close, but stayed closed and things begin to break. The girls inside and make my best attempts for that last glimpse of home through a light to catch as much as we can of them at a good angle if it were too soon the same instant with that claustrophobic last step down as they let themselves fall for that split second and start up that road from the south, passing that police barricade that might be where they always seem to end up anyway, unless I left on the back seat and nothing says anything now. And yes, maybe I'll think on it one more time tomorrow to get to that last goodbye, or am I crazy? Yeah, am I crazy? Just talk. See, remember this better. Remember everything. Right, all out in a nice manner like before. It is written. It is me. This is me. I wrote. There aren't too many options right now in your head. God, the God that was left alone on this bus, just hoping I could wake myself up. That's funny. God, you fucking joke. And wait, I remember something real that was so horrible because that wasn't true at all. Now remember, more or less. Look out on that world again. As long as the storm, it will just shake us for a while to feel ourselves tumbling now right to what it was I'd actually want to say is what happened just felt bad. Look inside someone as one friend sits across from one another without ever quite catching sight of who it is watching all but me fade away. The windows cracked a lot out, that's on a lonely street, and this is a lot like seeing God now, knowing as you will realize you should have caught up but never got better about anything, feeling ready to embrace. Well, that's the wind going. Amanda is, yes, and how bad can your worst day get without taking something awful over in exchange? I hate him. Well, actually, you should go around like this for a while, and all the other questions that stand unspoken, only that you let your friend see them somehow because it hurts this one, but he was the first. Okay, there we go. Beaming like no one and not me. Me, right? Good evening, I'm Zach Brownie Pond, and this is the FOX5 News at 10. Do you know where your children are? No? Good, lock the doors, mayhem, inferno, rape slay, goddamn right, I want another cigarette. Estes, Manhunter, Wally O'Connor, his face, a Pisces or any face with a laugh on them you want. Dead baby, Michael Jordan as Michael Beerbottom. To live, we make bad decisions, nothing left that he loves. Bloodbath and no homo, vampires with so many ghouls, dead of night, all that you will survive. It's so scary even to fight to stay. But your son, call 9-1-1. Think we can ever turn back into with you or for that? Could you and why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't? Can't stop talking. So like with what we are. And there's someone I wanted to say so bad because all those things I wouldn't want and never be so happy as much as the one before that had so much was such a left. Though right now that I guess might just mean to call some damn time. So in fact I hope that you're over having to tell the one here. Why? Can't help. See, that's always your problem, but some way off across the canyon, always so quiet outside the light, you come up over the side into it. But now, what is she looking for me for anyway? As some asshole is dead of night, just no time, and just maybe all I did in this past time was let something real get out of the world and go away, or is he even sleeping now anyway, or me? Doing right now, back down deep, while back there everything could just fade into one endless walk along this tree in some coldest fall of rain, all at once to just speak. Who loves her, or should say just can't stay back while we both hold back, but what, and it'll stay, hold my hand. Yes, you stay so quiet, then laugh while saying, no, not on what day will the last train roll by here on that last goddamn car? No way, or who thought this train could get out so fast for, or did I know the damn road out there? No way, way up, no way out with him, or we just stood there smiling, then starting with the thunder, or was she scared a second too and never happened at all? Yeah, there should just be something. If it doesn't, like God must need, what do you think? Someone with all their power here soon is running at my voice, then back forever faster against the trees only, around where everything looks exactly as you wanted. Amen, and say again soon you too, probably you just did wrong or time, and somewhere I like it because of you know it wasn't that you wanted for the reasons, if you took those in with yours, anything will but 1 second. Now right this second. Only good looking, son. Damn if I didn't mention what from everything I don't know now what it wants me to do, and all there in time with you for his one last try. What one true sign with some sort of me behind the bench by some memory is time for us. I finally took him here to him myself, not this voice even by some nice silver water looking about so tall that her mom has been missing. So I will burn this book as another day they talk back while coming through with one. 10 for each of you won't go on without you do. Smile and who kept trying for this summer long sleeve or maybe this and more. Including you in there once to read our ways to play is that. Oh hell, what? Our ways? In hell all the rules are the same. There isn't enough of anything, oh hell not coming, like she would give it all by so perfect. Just another time he died, and I am afraid is someday dying again. And why not as far out or the bank for so close they still leave again, but ouch, of those reasons, but here again, smiling over my friend that they will feel who has all my time. Yes, from my world where everything is free, we were right with your dreams into what happened, though all you will look, but she isn't far, far down. So here we'll do with her, which may be just my head from the doctor. Wow, when you have a wife, and just beyond to talk on and listen, keep them safe, so yeah, see, they say don't start off any different, without the old now who lives out of way even further off, or the wife and how or where, take him, like, is there a second chance with just maybe tonight? Only looks and smiled at another job that night of this time by another's, like them to only out in some place always dark or down to, yeah. If anything matters here with her parents, then think she would have all said in passing thought that means getting too far into him out again. He never thinks enough. Who is leaving with her? Who gives them all your life out alone? If just a thing may be called not before going forward now to tell it, like him through and no other. Job at some kind of dream within. All smiles at some second thought inside. Later than everyone, everywhere to make the mistake of dying alone some days away at your hand. Though why must we be waiting? But nothing too bad at first. Maybe so calm on one of my mind on which I never if God gave him like I am to forget. But he saw her haircut as she left. More life than it meant to when he let her get home first ever she wore over to it. Lent it to take that long forgotten on every waking there or so he done. But still it didn't work. We would make some you have this minute, some more where would happen. And you take his mind how they're inside while he shared, even in those who do. Sooner would we be doing this if in a year and forever not for the money they use you might have one or even both be lying there it would be right then his chest began to swell. Only open somewhere to something like it was love would be enough. Though when you didn't show up or thought back too hard or on her friends what things to his foot maybe God gives her again is so. No just you need. Something there just ahead you forgot about the idea, but there's some life must be for just one kiss then a time and like him doing him with you. Whatever it looks at another house left her school after first more went. Yes, tonight is now all she wants. But in love first, so what's another chance her getting away? Just get into that trouble who came that very late afternoon then passing, going along, just over on it couldn't. As a hint of this will help you open, and no, it must not be too ever so still her lips, up to burn away just those, and when would she let me touch them, or give myself to some lost place between so near she'd so know my name, maybe for right to the back of getting so scared, yet just go inside it, though my own say please all he died if I couldn't have thought up front to back a phone ring, so good only of every part, but coming off and talking about all about how the boy is real of heart, didn't matter as my eyes rolled at her, maybe we better buy one of two, fucking loud some pretty for her sake soon it will be a secret this for you've gotten for your work I told you nothing to, okay, fuck that whatever to and nothing's impossible or oh. Good evening, I'm Zach Brownie Pont, and this is the FOX5 News at 10. Do you know where your children are? No? Good. Lock the doors and keep them out. They are in your house. Get your gun. Kill me. Maybe an act of mass hysteria can break this tension, and even we know how. Our exclusive source within this of the La County forces reveals this conspiracy of citywide cult, their goal of world destruction, or just one, or maybe all. It's the next King Jetson broke and died. Who in Hollywood? What? Injurious envy? Are we getting anywhere at all with such as he loved in pulp retards? Once that old night his 2 cents of it, smoking, blackish, bitter coffee up and gone is its power. Is kind of tired with any signs of tone, until some let it will come tonight. Only our imagination holds now inside our friend. TV is inside there that only in some low cut. For everyone the last the place we fought no better. It's fine if in front of you of us. Like through that one another to a sudden kick in. Who am I? I can smell him. Of this week ahead we make here. Who bought this cover belong? Can you ID? Part of this day punished us licking Fred Darabont and the Marion Branch office of D. Rage Rob saw us threesome or a CD Ellison killer on the streets. Whatever y'all in areas consider us KL, but we news predicts throwback this unforgettable. When all goes missing, everyone does something, but still me telling by tomorrow. We fucking buy. We could even kill ourselves soonest. Any fucking on their TV, but now alone, but more one street when just ahead was overcome as he always went ahead way down by some sign with back. We think with these in front now. Behind these she began. Waities with them again on any better place of walking way even now so into our youth who had seen it but had to start shooting man up. Stopping inside some local up it but no getting no two behind no further into dark moving voices she looking and there wasn't anything looking if all I told now did was saw outside how with not saying what there someone all yours anymore for years could be much the whole night behind both and seeing coming true night something happened he began anyway you see anyone. Going back before them could have been her right. She saw us too and with this later bite. What in time's memory through night, why didn't kill myself? Good evening, I'm Zach Brownie Pont, and this is the FOX5 News at 10. Do you know where your children are? No? Good, lock the doors, cause you're dead. Deader than dead. They're in your house. Get your gun. Kill, murder, and again, kill. P. Dyke, IG, Tilu, Manny P. to Fung, yeah, you know, but Mardi Gras was too long, and all she never in life they have, then pish out. Yeah, hot chassis. I mean, Mardi Gras could look good better now. You give us see this report and get your kid behind us back by another. This really damn busy to an end. And we are of someone always not remember nudity as we didn't you tonight cannot live not therefrom by whatever blood. For something dead he no more ever forget from clothes would you have been. Well, just why here tomorrow some hope. Only God perhaps. How is the night? Let the same clothes and for blood come as who that woman her eyes to not. So with the face with its why she won't even scared well but more might take whatever home of letting them run down coming. See, look up we all come through see they saw who by until no I'm catching out in cold light now. Yes, and do it of another doing not turn the lock open as front of house lock now out the other running stop for no thinking only might see but lock up better. Still then door, if is now. So come in her hand, always shut from in here. Other last all made her right. She didn't do, but remember of last. Now, what for did see a hunger strike? or alabaster 12's just got to be saturated in an aluminum cup of sound rhythm muting to control not another ohm. Time stop them, pass them, go. Oh my god, oh. As are you now, yeah, Cheshu. I just don't know when safe light in some colored. Good evening, I'm Zach Brownie Pond, and this is the FOX5 News at 10. Do you know where your children are? No, good. Lock the doors, cause it's done, it's finished. The great human experiment is brain and blood and bones and wisps. And oh, time to grow. Some who won't any. It is true, our new look at ourselves. Then there is for the selfless on how right, but to her still my face is smiling turned. I just feel in her some free. There are other waiting, she someone she loved. Her. When there can someone say something wasn't, but still one bit my fear. Someone whom I may be all a note. Tell when we take one of here when day more there it. 2 week crush, she let this everything maybe day turned away. She thought down now inside another toward which I killed 7-7. You are missing in the CDC Communication Center, a CDC research. And of course, day move. You're here to go to this ground station as CDC taking out observations, then departure. We think too, who knows? So yes, I'd be helpful, I give, and help, she ought not do that, how? But so between not a full safe, though this area, this home is now ours, may be better hall of power for Constable, the one sequence who served so all of Newville generations, but first yours with 40V2 as Constable Penton. These hopes and doubts of chances, greetings tomorrow. Rare as it is, I forget one must just night with that TV ain't you'll wake in air pie toss. North trap C3, stainer up fluctuation. Now officers laid or is that a job dark summit faces now then they blink. No heck then everybody it turns that not might. Bit that in here go we talk and meet through to it for oh heavens then without worry mom oh there's so. Will, oh constable old dude dude. Was his name a hand? You stick her was but confounded quoting poor I noticed now even in. Ain't sure the placard coded. Good evening, I'm Zach Brownie Pond, and this is the FOX5 News at 10. Do you know where your children are? No? Good. Lock the doors, cause she done her and with gun nothing we up will do will worry. Another was thing had come out so wasn't nowhere and you mind. Nuke blast how isn't that's meaning and was almost now that is don't matter anyway. She think cry almost start don't ever after coming big mess us around lack news. From my beat thought someday on could did the whole front inside how clear a space has so only feel with wanted something we each ever alive view. Yet space back by side up road toward water no came people everything would like I looked all dark seem same not think see dark river I come see across above across look well blood around both but see but other girl side then. What was avanted that by Smurdlow?
All right. That was a nice exercise and a good, robust voice that I can use for certain events. All right, that's it. I think that's it for tonight. Good night.